Hi guys, my name's Tudor, I'm the man on the Silver Mountain, and welcome back to Torment, Tides of Numenera. Now, we've just been rooting through some folks' memories, and we've got some stuff to do, but I don't know if we should maybe talk to these guys first. Sunderman and Sunderman. What was that? Bloomflesh and Sundries. Okay. Once again, I'm just going to have a... Oh, everything's slowed down. Why is everything slowed down? Please let me look at my journal. I just want to look at my journal. There we go. Alright, so, yeah, we've got the... Oh, we have to examine the handle that we just pulled. What was the broken heart? Oh, yeah, tibia. Okay, but we have to examine the blade handle that we got. Is this it? Yeah. You found this object inside the ruptured bloom cyst. It is made of azure steel, resembles the hilt of a small knife, but the blade is missing. Can't read today. Use the item. Okay. The device resembles the hilt of a weapon. It rests easily in your hand, but there is no blade. Inspect the device. The device is made of azure steel. It appears to be inert and has no obvious function. A stylized name is inscribed into the steel. Iozu. Why do I know that name? We met someone called that, right? Behind a strong glass plate, you find a compartment that contains an old, depleted power core. It's blackened and drained, so you toss it aside. You can place another power source inside the compartment, but it may require a particular type of energy. Wait, was Iozu one of the people that we jumped into the memory of before? It might have been. I can't remember. This is the problem with playing this game in sections, because there's so much. Based on your understanding of the technology, it seems as though the device would require trans-dimensional power source, something that harnesses the energy of singularities or parallel universes. Well, that's very specific for me to work out just by taking a look at the battery slot. Okay. So is that now we need to find a power source? Okay. Sure. Excuse me, do you have a power source? Near a display of goods that all appear to be made of bloom flesh, either tanned, beaten, carved or cured, stands an old man who looks fairly tanned, beaten, carved and cured himself. He also has startling yellow eyes. "Hello," he exclaims, admiring my stock. "You won't find anything else like it, nor not even in the bloom. Here in the bloom. All handcrafted and one of a kind." Okay. Can I ask you about the cyst on the edge of your platform? Whatever was in there was probably pretty dangerous, and now it's out, thanks to a certain someone who thought they knew better than the bloom. Yep, that's me. Okay, so what exactly do you sell? Bloom flesh, my friend. Bloom flesh. We craft everything out of it. Clothing, armor, building materials, jerky, you name it. The bloom cultists in particular love wrapping themselves in bloom flesh, but everybody buys it from us, even the Murdens. You might say our business is blooming. Can I push him off the platform just for that, please? Good one, Sunderman. Thanks, Sunderman. I liked it myself when I first heard it. Okay. What do you know about the bloom cultists? Got some odd notions, those folk. They worship the bloom as a deity and aren't afraid of being eaten. Crazy, of course, but they're my best customers, so I just smile and nod when they natter on about it. Okay, the Murdens. We've come across Murdens before, right at the very beginning. Those hunchbacked beak faces all steal anything they can get their claws on. We sell clothes to them, and because of that, they mostly let us be, but I trust them as far as I can throw them, and I'd advise you do likewise. Okay, well, let's see what you got. What's this? Bloom flesh. Ooh. Oh, but it's What kind of armor is it? Medium armor, yeah, so that's going to impact us quite substantially. If only I hadn't like sold that Exuvia stuff that we found before. We need to find our way back to go and get it. So that's an artifact with plus armor. Oh no, sorry, we've got plus armor. That's yeah. So we've got plus health, plus armor. Okay. All right. Well, that's all very nice, sir. But what have you got to say for yourself? Hello, sir. Are you interested in our way? The handcrafted and one of a kind. Okay, you look an awful lot like your employer. Are you related? Ha! You noticed that. Well, you should talk to him. He gets a kick out of telling people about it. I admit, I like seeing the look on people's faces when he does. Okay. What sort of work are you doing? I'm Sunderman's apprentice. That means I do whatever he tells me, really. Mostly harvesting usable bloom flesh. It's always an adventure, flesh harvesting. Though my elder tells me I'll be going away on a bigger adventure soon. Can't wait. Okay. Interested in your wares. Great, you should talk to the elder. He handles the actual trading. Okay. Isn't it dangerous to harvest bloom flesh? Not really. People only fear the bloom when they don't understand it. I have lived here all my life. There's nothing ever happened to me. Oh, but it will, youngster, it will. You keep saying that, but you won't say when. If I did, you might try to avoid it. I know I would, only to see what happens. Okay, so hold on. What's up with these two then? Because there's obviously something odd going on here. Have some more questions. Couldn't help but notice that you and your apprentice look very much alike. Well spotted, well spotted. And why would you speculate that is? Oh, I love telling this story. He'll never guess. My guess would be that they are the same individual cycled through the bloom from different points, like impossible space, kind of creating paradoxical elements and things like that. But it's probably your son. I think he's your cousin. Features nearly identical, as if you're the same person. Ha! Well done. Not many people manage to figure that one out. Let me tell you what happened, or will happen if you like. Yeah, so it's a cycling thing. Actually, that Aeon priest in the slump saw it too. It was somehow more obvious than it used to be. One day soon, my younger self will be walking along. When the bloom will open a maw beneath him, he'll tumble into another world, years in the past. Or maybe the journey to the past will be when he tries to come back. Whatever the case, it'll take him many decades and worlds to travel back here. I envy him the experiences he will have, but thank him for the memories. Doesn't know what will happen, change the future? Why? I knew what was coming, but it hasn't changed my past. Sounds like a dangerous journey. Shouldn't you warn yourself? I did, but I didn't listen. Besides, when I think about all the stories I filled my head with, it's hard to remember exactly what I said about when the big day is. But it's coming soon. Okay, well, best of luck to both of you, I guess. Right, so hold on. Did we talk to the Lascar? I mean, there's a bridge off there that we've not looked at yet. We talk to these guys? Let's go back down and talk to these guys, and then we've got like one of 3 ways to go, I think. Yeah, one of 3 ways to go. These 3 humanoids wear intricately carved armor that makes them look like undersea dwellers of legend. You cannot recall having seen the material from which they are shaped either. Though the suits are bulky, their wearers move with a strange and fluid grace. You might have mistaken them for monsters, but their leader is unhelmed and appears human. She has close-cropped hair, an angular face, and her jaw is clenched as if she were subconsciously chewing on the problem. At your approach, she gives you an irritated glance. You address the Jemadar Arechi. Arechi? Arechi. We'll go with that one. Speak what you need or begone.
Making a note.
Then she considers her words. Ordinarily, hospitality is ours. Forgive this one. The moor to our anchorage has closed. So that's a moor. Okay. She indicates the hideous tentacled mouth that lies dead in the centre of the platform. Another way we must find. Have you word of open moors that lead to our station? She lowers her voice. Beseech you, even. Trapped here with the supplies we purchased for our compatriots. This world is getting to me in the frustration of speaking in a foreign tongue. If you want to help me, you'll need to answer some questions. Or if you want my help, sorry, you'll need to answer some questions. Her jaw unclenches, but by a small fraction. Naturally, this one will seek to provide informative truth. How did you come to be trapped here? Left the anchorage where our ancestors have served for centuries, sought resupply as we have so many times before. Upon return, the way was closed. Again, she indicates the dead moor at her feet. Worried now that comrades may suffer without us, or worse, what if our ship returns while we are absent? No, that's too terrible a thought. Okay. Tell me about your anchorage. All the refuge we have ever known. We await the ship that will end our mission and take us home. Captain Janur commands us. If you find the moor and speak to her, perhaps she can tell you more. In a way, I suppose the anchorage is our home. After all, we have never known another. Okay, where shall I go look for moors? This one hoped you would know. We are strangers here. Buying supplies is all we know, not hunting moors. She looks down at the dead moor on the platform. Here was the moor that led to our anchorage. Here it had been for many years, yet on our return, dead. Okay. Let's just... Oh no, okay, fair enough.
It is done.
Well, do you know what? We're going to go down this way first, because... why not? Oh, this looks like a dump for the robots and other crap. Or metal stuff. Maybe some shins and things that we can pick up and wander off with. So maybe we can have a sleep. Oh no. As you enter the slum, you nearly crash into a small confrontation. 5 mutants surround 3 guards dressed in a distinctive garb of the Memavira's enforcers. This must be one of Brusca's lost patrols. Before you hear them say a word, you already know the mood here is ugly and it's likely to turn to violence soon. A mutant who looks like his face is full of spores or insect eggs, delightful, leans toward a disgusted, terrified human and says, "You're leaving a trail of fear piss. Who'd pay you for protection? We're done with the Memavira, she's out." One of the other guards, less phased, pushes the mutant back. "It ain't fear piss, it's the spit you're spraying when you talk. Why don't you go hatch your eggs by burying your face in a pillow? Real people are conducting business here." A second mutant, one who'd been obviously observing the fracas, noticeably bristles, thorns literally emerging from his arms, shoulders, and face as he pushes forward. "Every damned one of you looks the same. 2 arms, 2 legs, no surprises. You want to collect our money? I'll make you eat it, and your friends can collect it from your rotting shit." Well, this got fun fast, didn't it? The mutant punctuates his sentence with an increasingly vicious stab of his finger. You can feel a bloody tide rising, and if you wish to intervene, the clock is winding down. Gain the mutant's trust. Or... okay, hold on. I want to talk to you, Spiky. You focus on the thorn-covered creature, and the weight of your gaze turns his head. "What do you want, human?" You want in on the long due bloodletting? You'd better talk fast. We're itching to get started. The spine-covered mutant's eyes remain focused on the Memavira's enforcers, his mouth drawing thinner and thinner. Ask how the Memavira might retaliate. They burst out into laughter, and their thorned leader replies, "What can she do? The bloom is done with her. Her grasp be weak." Skepticism and trust from other mutants, already unpleasant faces. They don't know or trust you. Wait, who's this? Oh, this is me. This is actually me, as opposed to Eratis. Okay. Can't say how much care for these humans' presence. We'll be shed of them soon enough. Okay, that's delightful. Ask who's in charge of this area. This arouses tight laughter from the assembled mutants. You'd recognize Gar Koto if you saw it. Our prince lives in the tank in the center of Little Nilish. Liesh? Niliesh. Not big on mobility, our prince. Laughter resounds again, and then the mutants focus on the enforcers. Okay, the mutants grumble at you, cursing at your intervention. Okay, hold on. Where's the tank? That the tank? We need to run. We need to go all the way. Go all the way. No? Okay, how far can you go?
With alacrity.
Fortunately, she can't blink further, so... I wonder, can Matkina... Ask the mutant leader how the situation started. They came to collect their protection money for the Memavira, but the Memavira can't enforce anything. She's weak. Everyone knows it. Look at these poor specimens. They can't even protect themselves. Okay, when does the combat start? Is this it? Back off, mutant. It doesn't end well for you. Okay, right. So talk to the sergeant. Stall for time. Ask how the situation started. We make this route every month. We're collectors. It's our job to bring in revenues from the Memavira from our loyal subjects, but they laid in wait for us and got the jump on us as we walked into Little Niliesh. Okay, last cast off, please. What's my... Yeah, I've still got 7. Right, so... See if this works. Deception, intimidation. Suggest that the Memavira's enforcers are on the way. We can give it a go. Didn't work. I don't know. The patrol schedules have been spotty lately, and we had another one go missing just the other day, but the Memavira spared no expense to find them. Run, Calastige. Run. No.
Without doubt.
Okay, can you not get over here?
Yes.
Or is she too far away? Okay, so we can only talk to him and the sergeant. Okay, Makina, then you ask what the Memavira does with the collection. She pays us mostly, and the mercenaries who come through the moors, and the bribes to the Sager's Cliffs officials. But she's been falling further and further behind on those payments. He swallows and looks at the mutants around him. Like as not, she'll want vengeance if we fall. She needs this money and she'll use her nastiest tricks to get it back. Okay. Get gone. You want to answer to the Numenera? Sounds like they do, friend.
Action! Here I come!
Run. Right, okay. Will she be able to... So I think I've exhausted pretty much all of my options here. So let's
All right.
let's just get out of the way. If they right, can you... What is this?
In an instant.
Okay, so how do we get up to...
Without doubt.
I don't understand where exactly...
Yes, child.
I see a person over there. Matt Keener, go and deal with this person. Use that one, and then she's gonna have to. This is probably going to go. No. Okay. Fine. Forget it then. We're not paying extension more. Don't interfere with the Numenera's takings. You know what's good for you. So we can't go this way. We can't actually go and talk to the supposed leader in the area. Well, I guess we're gonna have to try. Can't back the wrath of mob much longer. You want to talk? Make it fast. Okay then, this is going to go horribly, and I have a feeling the before. Oh, I can't save. All right then. Well, I suppose at least if I die, I just regenerate. So you know, there's that.
Yes.
Let's get in behind this guy.
As you wish.
So I think I need to actually talk to them and like attack one of them first, which I wish I could just like open fire, but if I can like Makina can get in behind this guy, and I want the last cast off and Calastige off over this side. So if I can get them in position. Numenera has taken the last little Neelesh. Tell you what, freak, take another step and okay, look. Take the sergeant, step away from the sergeant. Ask what kind of leader he is. Koto is wise, crafty, thinks in circles and in mazes to find the best results for our people. Koto is almost never takes direct action. Says that hasty choices become their own legacy. Ooh, okay. Oh, this is going to go poorly straight off, isn't it? The fight's going to start in a second. No? Okay. Or not? Okay, look, let's get back over here and talk to him again, please. There we go. Would likely not approve of starting a war with the Numenera. Yes, do it. There we go. Well, the prince did tell us to keep to ourselves, heads down like. Gar Koto might be angry if these goons die. Dude, just give up. Just give up and go home. No one will care. go, come on, Calestige, you're a charming, lovely lady. You can make the difference here. We understand you want to stay on the Memavira's good side, but this has to end. Unless you can think of another way, we've got to put them down before they steal our shin and little niche. Nilesh. Nilesh? Can't get my tongue around that word. I'm going to have to pay, aren't I? Persuade the mutants to let the humans go. We can give it a try. But you are now...
I'll remember that.
As you say, these are deaths we can save for another time, eh? No point in bloodshed with outsiders witnessing. My thanks, we won't forget this. Cool. Well, that kind of... that happened. We really need to rest. But now, okay, so now we can actually get around and take a look at where we are. So this is Mutantsville then. Okay, let's take a look at see who this person is. Aen Tozen. Stunning man in formidable garb greets you with arms wide open. His golden eyes stir strange, unbidden feelings in you. My friend, he says, spreading his arm. Welcome, I am Aen Tozen. The sound of his deep, rumbling voice makes you think of a waterfall at the rise of the morning sun. Beatific and profound. Makes you feel drunk. This is where we're getting to stuff that just makes me a little creeped out. He talks further, but you can't really follow what he's saying at first. It's just such a pleasure to hear that voice. Then you feel a sensation like an icy finger on the top of your skull, and the warmth spreading through your limbs cools. The image of a glowing waterfall cascading through your mind dries to a trickle. Aen Tozen trails off, watching you curiously. Are you trying to hypnotize me? No, not trying. Trying requires effort, and the effect is quite beyond my control, he says with a slight genuine smile. The effect is caused by my passion for studying the web of connections between people, even separated by words or... He pauses, his smile fading. Death. Even in death, connections persist. I'm surprised he's still as coherent as he is. Oh well, it's just a matter of time. His humour continues fading. He seems thinner now, frailer, less human. His voice is a dry, papery, ancient thing. My studies took me all over the world and to lands beyond the stars before I finally came to the bloom. Here, my hunger took on a more literal meaning. With careful hands, he opens his clothing, exposing a maw, one of the bloom's sentient mouths. You sense otherness beyond it, and a gateway to a place beyond this one. I told you that my studies changed when I came to the bloom, he says. One of the Maw's tentacles winds around his wrist. This is how. A Maw claimed me. Now we both feed, quite harmlessly, mind you, on the connections between people. I understand the sensation can be quite pleasant. The tentacle slips reluctantly from his arm. If you wish to feed us, bring a close friend to us, to visit us. We will be here waiting. I brought an ally to feed you as you asked. Would any of them satisfy you? Closes his eyes and concentrates. Silky heat fills the air. You feel comfortable, lazy, happy. He holds one hand before him, centered on your chest. Then his fingers move to Calestige, to over Eretis, past your shoulder to Matkina. A wide smile consumes his face. Declare a name and I will feed. I'm good. Crimper, who are you? This filthy old man is dressed in a motley of rags, arranged artfully to emphasize the inhuman reach of his needle-like fingers and the two protruding humps on his back. As if his mutations are a source of pride, he wears smoked goggles on his forehead, parked above his transparent eyelids and his noseless face. His teeth are small, even, and shining white. He shows them often as he smiles to himself. His pockets are filled with trinkets and baubles that he has picked up from the piles of trash. Raises his head and says, what have we here? Who comes to disturb old Crimper? Have you come to search through this bounty with me? You are welcome to share. He looks at you keenly. Share, you hear? What are you doing? What does it look like I'm doing? I dig and I answer questions for fools. Not everything in the trash heap is trash, but what wastrels abound. Why waste? Why waste indeed? Fair. He comes through a mound of trash with uncanny speed and precision. Tourists, fair. Always bothering Crimper. Have you ever found anything valuable? Oh yeah, people lose all kinds of treasures in the trash. He sits back and pushes up his goggles. Unexploded detonations, blocks of metal that spark and steam with nano spirit swarms, a marble with a cloud of insects inside, half-used healing injectors. He beams. A Coloxtrian Asvale? Even? That bought me many shins. Oh ho, perhaps Crimper was wrong. Perhaps this one is interested. What is the best item you found here? It was this. He fumbles around in his pocket, slapping at his shapeless rags before he reaches a hidden stash and pulls something out. It's an ugly vomit green cylinder made of organic material. About half the size of a forearm, covered in knots and whorls and tendrils. It looks like it might still be alive. I found this a year ago. It was buried near Garkoto's tank, and I would have missed it if it hadn't wriggled. Listen. He squeezes it and sets it down, and the thing begins to sing in a slow, discordant tone. The device shivers and rolls around on the ground, hooting and piping through tiny mouths in its tendrils and whirls, and then issues a melancholy belch. The mouths close and the thing ceases to move and sound. He titters a bit. I laugh every time. I had to shed blood for this one. Some human thought to take it from me. He drops it into one of his outer pockets. It was my only comfort the night young Gottlieb disappeared. Help me through it. Okay. It seems like little Nilesh has an awful lot of trash. This is the midden of the bloom, to be sure. I've crossed through many chambers and cavities, and none of them have this kind of refuse. We mutants do not make this much mess, and new piles of garbage appear daily. So much work. Okay, well, I don't want to steal your ugly music box, as much as it might be a thing, but... Hey, child, you ask plenty of questions about the refuse and the hidden treasures here, but not so much about finding treasures of your own. Have you ever dreamed of picking your future from the ground? I can show you, oh yes. An apprentice, maybe. I haven't had someone learn from me since Gottlieb. I'd be happy to learn. Ah, good, good. The first possession in your hands should be on your hands. A trash picker needs gloves or skin like synth, stone, glass, and ordure combine in these. Oh, glass like synth, glass, stone, glass, and ordure combine in these piles, and like as not, some sharps will pierce your skin. You want none of that fluid in your core, child, or you'll end up like Crimper here, or poor Vrung. Not right between the ears. He continues in that vein for a time, leading you to various trash piles. This one picked clean. See how the pile is strewn, and behold, a pile of last resort. You want those relatively undisturbed. You spend some time. Oh, excuse me. You spend some time looking for newer piles, and you're rewarded with the pleasure of sifting through some organic goop and chemical-scented tailings. But eventually you find something that may be useful, and you pocket it, an ancient spirit cube. Now over here, aha, the others hit the pile quick but not deep. You want to go deeper than the surface, yeah. But no, but you need to go fast and careful. He shows you. Hold on, that's Everlit. Okay. He shows you how to dig through a large pile quickly and safely, maneuvering around jagged chunks of broken synth, shattered strong glass, and splintered wood. At the end, you find an interesting piece and take that too. You learn quickly. You have a true gift. Come back and share some time with me, child. Having paid careful attention to Crimper's lessons, you feel that you could now locate other treasures in the trash. Well, that's cool. So we can dig around and find some stuff.
Yes. Now.
What's this? Trash pile. Yeah, let's dig through it. What's that? A broken Lascar helmet. We've seen someone with a that's like Lascar but doesn't have a helmet.
Yes.
Can we dig through again? No. Okay. That's fine. We'll find more trash to dig through for loot and stuff. Okay. All right, let's head back down here and talk to Wondor. As you approach the bulk of stone and fur, it starts to move, becoming less of an inanimate object and more of a man. Before you stands a giant figure with a beard so thick it seems like sculpted granite. But when you see his gentle eyes, a tangible wave of peace washes over you. I'm happy to see you, Adan. He speaks carefully, as though every word is a step upon icy ground. You have been gone too long. The Peace Bringer. It would be good to repay my debt to him. He is a good man. I'm not the man you think I am. Gentle confusion crinkles the mutant's stony brow, making the sound of like boulders shifting against one another. It's me, Adan, he says slowly. Wondor. Perhaps it has been too long. Perhaps you do not remember me. I'm sorry I made you unhappy. Do not be sorry. You must help many people. It was foolish to think you would remember me. Does not matter. I will help him if I can. Why have you returned, Adan? Can I help you in any way? How are you, Wondor? Better than before we met. Then there was sadness in me, rage and sadness, fed by my many thoughts. But you found the stranger inside me and took it out. Since that day, I have felt peace. Sadness at what? Rage at what? It no longer matters. Who was this stranger you mentioned? I do not know, but it entered my head in the accident. It was heavy, like a golden stone. It made my thoughts faster, but sharper. They made me sad. They made me angry. But you told me you could help. You took out the device, took away the dangerous thoughts, leaving me calm. You said you had more use for thoughts than I did. What accident? I don't remember. The stranger held the memories and the pain, and the stranger is gone. You took it. What were the thoughts? They are hard for me to remember now, but it was my voice. You should not have left them, it said. They are gone because of you, it said. You must learn from this, it said. He shifts uneasily. But when I tried to learn from the thoughts, they increased. They shouted. They would not leave me alone. I do not know what they mean. I do not need to know. Okay. Okay, let's... this might be mean, but... let's try it, shall we? Wanda turns ponderously to stare at the man who stands some distance away several long moments. Of course, anything for you, Adan. Anything. I will join you when you speak to him next. This might be. He seems really nice, and the changing god seems to have helped him, and probably to his own ends. If it was like a thought kind of like a thought speed amplifier type thing, or something that then also had some messages encoded in it that he took away from him. But at the same time, this could be really horrible, because if the feeding is actually my friend Wanderer here will help feed you. Through a thunderous pulse of pleasure, you see tentacles spilling from within Ain Tozen's clothing and more open. Pale, transparent figure steps out from whatever world lies on the other side. He turns this way and that, perhaps attempting to get his bearings. Seeing Ain Tozen and his Maw directly behind him, he scampers off to the side to create some personal space. And finally noticing you, he gives a cheery wave. Okay, that could have been worse. Ain Tozen conceals the Maw once more and gives you a tremulous smile. As Wandor shuffles away, he eyes you with suspicion, his smile a distant memory. Perfection, Ain Tozen says, sighing. Absolute perfection. Querzimian. Okay, let's go and have a chat with you then. Who are you? His pale, ghostly figure wears outlandish clothes and a horned helm. Opaque, tangled scars from an unfamiliar weapon. Weapon loop and curl over his transparent body. Oh, he says, tilting his head. You. Have you found my brother yet? On one of these trips, I'll stop being surprised. We've never met before. Oh, of course we have, he says, holding a large helmet in place. You, oh right, this is the first time we've met, isn't it? He straightens, holding out his hand formally. Hello, I'm Querzimian, and I've been travelling through time and looking for my brother for millions of years. Nice to meet you. Bet he tries this time. Won't my hand go right through yours? Damn, he says, grinning. Every time we do this, I hope you'll fall for it, and you almost never do. At any rate, let me know if you see my brother, huh? You came out of that moor. Are you connected to the bloom? To the what? Oh, no, I'm not. I just sort of, well, let's call it swim between places. Following currents, you know, someone pulled a plug and here I am. How many times have we spoken? Good question, he says, consulting an invisible mental list just above his head. Thousands, I'd say. Always a pleasure, mind you, though I don't know why we keep running into each other. I don't see anyone else more than once. If I had to guess, it's your relationship with the tides, but I don't mind. It's nice seeing a familiar face. He's probably the closest thing to a friend I have. What are those scars from? Scars? Oh, those look painful. No idea. Have to say I'm glad I don't remember, though. Are you a ghost? I like to think so, but I don't really remember dying, just the travelling and searching, and you'd think this helmet wouldn't keep moving around if I was, you know, spectral. On the other hand, I seem to remember promising my brother I'd haunt him when I died, so that's some evidence for the other side. Okay, so what does your brother look like? Well, sort of like me minus the helmet, and he's from a world long ago, so he might be wearing... He pauses. Oh right, I do this every time we meet. It's just that I usually go centuries between running into you, and I always forget that you can't have possibly seen him. Still, let me know if you've seen him, huh? It's always worth a shot. I won't give up on him. Okay, so what's the helmet about anyway? So glad you asked. I love this story. I ended up on the battlefield once. It was, well, I hadn't gone well for the side wearing these helmets. I walked up this blackened hill following the shouting, and I saw it was probably a city once, maybe, but it was on fire and covered in black flames. There were just 2 fighters left, the big man wearing this helmet and her. She was huge and made of screaming shadows and that same black fire. When the warrior charged at her roaring, she just touched him. She touched him and he fell over, twitching and burning. One of these times you told me she was called the Sorrow. Since this is the first time we've met, I'm guessing you have some questions for me. Your perception of time is a little confusing. It's barely clearer on my end. Okay. The Sorrow destroyed a city, a big one, around the size of 3 Saguses and a Bloom. But the people of the city were abusing the tides in some way. From what you told me about the Sorrow, that sort of thing makes her really unhappy. He straightens the helmet again, but I didn't think they deserved to vanish despite whatever they'd done. So I took the helmet off the warrior when he'd, stopped melting a bit. Now I carry it with me to remind me of them. Okay, hold on, you know about the tides? Of course I do. Sorry, forgot. First time, I know. They pull me from place to place, like normal tides do. It's why I keep seeing different times and places and never stop in any one place for long. Tides don't rest and neither do I. It's a little tiring sometimes, or at least I think I'm tired, which is probably the same thing. Hey, can you actually sense the tides flowing through me? No. Well, let's fix that. Cracking his ghostly knuckles. How long have we been recording? Okay. Before you can react, he thrusts all 5 fingers through your chest. The feeling isn't pleasant. In fact, you feel the tides surging through his arm, through you, and you see them curving back over your shoulders and back through him, binding you together. There, he says, it should be easier for you to sense the tides now. Just remember that she's out there, flowing around with the tides doesn't seem to make her mad. Abusing them, I don't recommend it. Oh, tidal affinity has been increased by 1. Current skill level is specialised. That's nice. Okay. We'll keep an eye out for his brother and stuff, I guess. But what's over here? So we got that thing. Are there any more trash heaps to dig through already that we can see? Did say that there might be stuff over here near the near Cargotto, but no. Okay, well, we won't talk to these children yet, and we won't go in anywhere because we've only got a little bit of time. We've got more mutants down here. We've got whatever that was. We'll go and talk to the person who's in charge of this area quickly, and then we'll probably call it quits because we're coming up on an hour. Right. So are you. You stand before a painted spherical tank fashioned of metal and synth. The paint is odd and cracking. Inside the tank is murky liquid, or possibly a thickened gas. Every so often, you can see the motion from a fluke, flipper, or strangely deformed arm within. A cleverly disguised grill on the front of the tank squawks out the distorted voice of the tank's occupant. It buzzes and moans, drawing out some words and shortening others in bursts of static. I am Gar Koto, a prince of the Fahat, and their delegate here in Little Nilesh. You have my gratitude for averting the violence with the Memavira's soldiers, but I must know, why did you act? Because I could. Silver Tide, yeah, okay. The grill on the front of the tank hisses, a laudable sentiment to be sure, yet we all come to a time where actions become paramount, and where we must choose imperfectly. It sighs, at a time when the bloom changes so radically, we must perhaps choose more quickly than we would like. Wise, but perhaps lacking forethought or compassion. Okay, fair enough, if you say so. The flux in the bloom, and thus the Memavira's weakness, is apparent in the instability of the moors we use for trade and transport. The old moors are closing and new ones open to take their place. There is a new moor here in Little Nilesh, one I would like to see opened, but the Memavira refuses to aid me. She won't even leave her fortress. But I have said enough. What would you have from me? I'm looking for two thieves called Delny and Vrung. I was told I could find them here. This is their home, yes. At the moment, they are hiding at the end of an alley. What can you tell me about them? Young mutants, though not the best of our kind, Delny possesses a great empathy, a psychic reverberation, while Vrung's powers are more subtle. Delny has changed since her association with Vrung, who has always been dangerous, troublesome perhaps. As long as they do nothing harmful to our people, I do not act, but I will not hesitate should the situation change. Okay, what was the proximate cause of the fighting between the Memavira's guards and your people? The Bloom no longer favours the Memavira. The Bloom is the source of the Memavira's power. If she has no power, the obligation to pay for her protection has vanished. We pay for reality, not promises. Perhaps our people have grown tired of the humans taking. Where did your people come from? Our home is the city of Nilesh in the Steadfast Beyond. My cousins of the Fahat rule over the three-tiered city wisely and well. When a Moor portal opened in Nilesh, we investigated to see if we might eke out a profit. We saw enough possibility that our explorers sent for me, a minor prince of the Fahat. I was to head this trade embassy. Speaker makes a slightly embarrassed noise. I did not think the Moor would close behind us, but 10 years ago it did. Tell me about the Steadfast, which is the setting for the main Numenera games, the pen and paper games. You ask much of me. I can tell you only of what I have heard, for our glorious city is in what they call the Beyond. The Steadfast is a collection of kingdoms, principalities, and other lesser denominations of feudalism, held together through the dictates of their religion, the Order of Truth. The elm priests of the Order have spread their faith far and wide. I hear they have even established a foothold in the city of Sega's Cliffs. What can you tell me of the Fahat? My brethren are blessed mutants, each diverging into a new pathway for humanity. We rule over the city of Nilhish, whatever, using the powers bestowed by our remarkable births to lead normal humanity to a new age of possibilities. We are close in spirit, yet rivals in politics, for the truth of a mutation lies in its ability to prove its use. The subtleties of our machinations are lost here, alas. Okay. Tell me more about the place that I seem to have trouble pronouncing. The speaker is silent for a moment. The city was once a machine, a colossal device that creates churn. We built atop the machine, creating elaborate structures and impossible architectures, and our city grew into the sky. The great and powerful of Nilesh, whatever, live among the fluted spires and the arcing byways, with powered cars lifting us to the skies in a moment. The shops and palaces of our people, alas, to think that I might die away from my home, to see sunrise over the cold desert again, to speak of Yigthli on the concourse one last time. Oh, with Yigthli. It's all tongue, that word. Why are the Moors changing and closing? Do you ask for my knowledge or my conjecture? If the first, then I must confess my ignorance. If the second, Cargoto pauses, considering, and the grill hisses and sparks when the mutant speaks again. If the second, I believe the bloom has a feeding cycle. It is an enormous organism, you know, and I suggest that these events are part of a larger pattern. Perhaps the bloom is preparing itself for a new Memavira. Do you want to take the Memavira's place? Laughter spills out in a staticky hiss. I do not desire such responsibility, nor do I seek the attentions of the bloom. Okay.
I'll remember that.
New quest received. As you turn, the speaker buzzes once more. In case word has not yet reached your ear, I am offering a bounty to the first who can open the newborn maw and tell me what lies on the other side. Of course, the first step is to discover what the maw wishes to eat. Without that knowledge, it cannot be opened. Alright, we'll look into it. And with that, we've hit about an hour. So I think, guys, what we'll do is we will quickly just save. There we go. And there we'll call it quits. So thank you very much for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the video tomorrow. Take care. Thank you very much for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this video, then please drop us a like and subscribe for more, and I'll see you in the video tomorrow.